Hello, friends. Good morning, happy Sunday, and welcome back to Elaborations with SchellingtonGrin. I am Ava, your Gothic Witch Big Sis, and before we dive into today's topic, I just want to pause to say thank you to all of you for being here and tuning in. Whether you've been listening since the beginning or this is your very first episode, I am so grateful that you are sharing this space with me because it really does mean a lot. The fact that you are tuning in is the reason that I keep making these podcast episodes and coming back every single day to share this space with all of you. And being able to create something that I truly enjoy and do something that I truly enjoy and share it with other people is one of the biggest motivators for creating something that I feel is going to stand the test of time. So really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough. But today, on this last Saturday of October, this last Saturday before the final harvest of the year, we are talking about something that might sound simple on the surface, but is actually one of the most powerful aspects of your spiritual practice or any practice that you move through in life, and that is ritual. Now, we're not just talking about the kind of ritual that's going to look pretty on Instagram. I'm talking about ritual in its truest form. The kind that roots you, restores you, and reconnects you to yourself. Even if that ritual is something as simple as making your coffee with intention every single morning, or choosing a daily movement practice that brings up your endorphins and makes you feel good and energized for the day ahead. So, if you can, get cozy if you're at home and grab your notebook. And if you're listening on your commute, as always, I encourage you to stay safe out there and maybe tune into this podcast episode later if you would like to sit and take notes. Without further ado, let's dive right into today's episode. So first, let's talk about the meaning of ritual, because it's not always about the aesthetic. It is about the awareness. The thing about ritual is that it's not always going to be about how it looks. It's not always simply going to be about the structure of it all or the tools that you're using. It's going to be about how it feels for you. Somewhere along the way, ritual got wrapped up in this idea of candles, crystals, and elaborate setups. And while all of those things are beautiful and totally valid, especially because your girl over here uses them too, they're not necessarily or inherently what makes ritual sacred. What makes any ritual sacred is your presence and intention, even if that ritual is going to the gym every day. And let me tell you something that you've probably heard, or maybe you haven't. If you sit there and you light a candle and then just scroll on your phone, that's just fire safety with some extra steps. But if you light the same candle and you close your eyes and take a breath to center yourself, and then when you open your eyes, you focus on the energy between yourself and the candle and how your energy is the same and different. That is ritual. Ritual is anything that you do with mindfulness and meaning. It is how you choose to infuse your everyday life with consciousness. And that is what makes a ritual so sacred, so special, and so potent. You could literally get rid of all of the other ritual tools and just sit there and be with your intentions. And that could be ritual enough. And like I said earlier, making your morning coffee, that can be a ritual. For me, I like to make my coffee via a Keurig because sometimes I only want 1 cup, sometimes I want 2, but it's easier and more cost efficient to make the 1 cup of Keurig coffee as opposed to brewing an entire pot that I might have to pour half of it out anyway. But I like to make my favorite flavor of coffee, which right now is, of course, pumpkin spice. And I do have pumpkin spice K-cups. And I like to put either almond milk or powdered cream into my coffee. And then I take my favorite sugar, which is currently coconut sugar, and I sprinkle a little bit of extra cinnamon into my coffee. Now, if you know anything about cinnamon and its importance in magic work, you know that cinnamon is connected to abundance. Abundance in love, abundance in relationships, and of course, yes, abundance in attracting wealth and money and prosperity. And when I sprinkle that cinnamon into my coffee, I sprinkle it with intention, and then I stir the coffee clockwise. If you're stirring something clockwise, you're calling something in. If you're stirring something counterclockwise, you're calling something out. Okay? So I stir it clockwise, and whether I'm speaking it aloud or I'm simply speaking it in my head, I set an intention for how that coffee is going to make me feel that day. What do I want to feel that day? Do I want to feel energized and focused? Do I want to feel calm and able to still focus and maybe clean my house that day on a weekend? Because I like to take the weekends to clean my house. That's just me. Or do I want that coffee to energize me so that I can have a nice day out with a friend? Whatever my intentions are, that is the ritual. Watering your plants can also be a ritual. When you are taking care of plants, think of it as taking care of something that you really love. When you are watering those plants, you can speak good intentions over your plants, like even saying affirmations like, I love you and you're so loved and you are going to be such a beautiful flower if you're planting flowers, or you are going to be such a beautiful and abundant rose bush if you're planting a rose bush, or you are going to be a beautiful and abundant zucchini plant if you're planting zucchini in your garden. I love me a good gardener. Gardener friends are some of the best friends to have because you can get some of the most ripe tomatoes and vegetables and produce all year round pretty much, depending on what they're growing and depending on what you can grow in your climate. But when you are speaking good intentions over your plants, science has even backed this up, and I could probably find some articles somewhere and maybe link them at some point. And science has backed it up that when you speak good intentions over your plants, they have a better chance of actually growing and feeling like, oh my gosh, I have the right environment to grow in. And it can be a beautiful exchange of energy between yourself and nature when you are speaking good intentions over your plants. And my favorite, pulling a single tarot card before or at the end of your day to set your intentions or even to reflect, that is absolutely a ritual. It is the presence, not the props, that creates the magic. Why does ritual matter? Ritual matters because it gives structure to anything that is sacred for you. We live in a world that is always moving so fast. Everyone's multitasking, doom scrolling, and trying to keep up with everything all the time. Whether it's work, friends, social media, the news, everything is at our fingertips. And we're constantly grinding and hustling. And sometimes we don't even give ourselves enough time to pause and disconnect. But what ritual does is it gives us an anchor. It says, pause, be here, and remember yourself. And that is what makes rituals so powerful, because they train you to focus your energy and remind your mind and spirit that what you do, even the small things, matters. When you are invoking yourself into a ritual space, you are creating this space to remind yourself that you matter. That slowing down matters, that being able to take care of yourself matters. So think of ritual as kind of like energetic muscle memory. When you're making your morning coffee with intention and you're stirring in gratitude, take a deep breath and whisper a small affirmation. When you're doing that, you're teaching your brain that this moment is sacred. I am safe here. I am connected. And over time, that repetition rewires your energy because it's no longer just coffee in the morning. It's a communion with your soul. Another anecdote that I would like to share is an anecdote from my partner. My partner is one of the people that I know that loves ritual and routine so much because it is something that has helped him to stay grounded in his life. And one of his favorite rituals and routines is to go to the gym at least twice a week. And he has a set routine and he does all of his little stretches and his even a little bit of weight training here and there. And he gets his cardio in and everything. And he is so meticulous about his routine at the gym. It's phenomenal to see because every time I have seen him even have to kind of rewrite it because of the fact that he has a different schedule now than he did over the summer, it's like, oh my God, this guy knows exactly what he needs for himself. And watching him write that routine was just chef's kiss. It was so beautiful. And yes, I gush about my man all the time. So you'll probably hear it in several episodes going forward. I'm going to just gush about my man. I'm going to try not to gush too much because I want to be able to get back to the topic at hand. But this is relevant. So he has his set days that he goes to the gym. And he knows what he's going to the gym for. He knows that he's going to work on his physical health and his mental health because those endorphins are going to make him feel like his best self. And being able to take care of his body is going to make him feel like he did a good service to himself. It's going to make him feel more positive about himself. It's going to make him feel more energetic. It's going to make him feel more alive, really, in himself because he did something that matters to him. And he did something that makes him feel like he isn't just dancing through life at somebody else's rhythm. He is focusing on the rhythm that works for him. And he's listening to himself. And I love me a man who can listen to himself and who hones in and zooms in on his goals and really shows that he cares about himself and that he is going to, even on the hard days when he feels like the world around him is crashing in, he's still going to show up every single day and love himself. Because a man that loves himself is going to love you a lot harder. So, yeah. And really, I have never seen someone who is so passionate about going to the gym as he is. At least in my own life. I've seen other people who are like super passionate as far as like fitness coaches and trainers and things like that I've followed throughout life. But as far as in my own life, I've never seen someone so passionate, and I love it. It's so beautiful. But moving on to reclaiming ritual from aesthetic, because the prettiest ritual isn't always the most powerful one. Don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, I love a beautiful altar setup. I love candles that smell like vanilla and lavender or a Victorian seance because, I gotta be a little goth. And a cup that looks like it was maybe even stolen from a haunted mansion, or even just something really pretty. Like, for example, a chalice that might be pewter and it might have a wolf carved into it. I love those. Those are so pretty. I love wolves. Wolves are my favorite animal. Little fact about me, wolves are my favorite animal. But the real power of ritual doesn't always come from how it looks, whether it's pretty and Pinterest-worthy. It comes from how it changes you. Because some of the most potent rituals are the quiet and unseen ones. Whether it's brushing your hair while you're speaking kind words to yourself, you're journaling one sentence of gratitude before bed, or you're simply breathing deeply when you wake up and you're allowing your body to wake up slowly. And you're maybe meditating while you're still in what law of assumption creators and even people like Neville Goddard would say is the state akin to sleep, where you're kind of in that middle ground where you're starting to wake up, you're starting to become conscious of your external surroundings, and you're starting to become conscious of the room around you, but you're still kind of in that groggy, half sleepy haze. That is the state akin to sleep, where your body is moving through the delta and theta waves into more of that like awareness and like beta and alpha waves, okay? So those are the rituals that build your foundation and the ones that remind you that you're here, you're alive, and this moment is all yours. So when you're tempted to skip your rituals because they don't feel aesthetic enough, or you want to scroll on your phone when you wake up because that somehow feels better to you in that moment, remember that spirit doesn't care about the vibe of your desk setup or your altar setup or anything that you really got going on. And if you work with deities, they don't care either. They simply care about your sincerity, your intention, and whether or not you're actually showing up for yourself more than anything else. So, my friends, your reminder for today is this. Ritual does not always have to be elaborate to be effective. What makes it powerful is your intention, not the aesthetic. Whether it's coffee, cleansing, going to the gym, or just taking a mindful breath, every small act of presence adds up. And that is how you turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. And as always, you can find all of my links to readings, socials, and more at the Linktree link in the description. This has been another enlightening episode of Elaborations with SchellingtonGrin, and thank you again for taking this time out of your day to sit with me and tune in. I'll see you again tomorrow in the next episode. Bye!